Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, let us see how to enable AWS CloudFront for custom domain with HTTPS. I have a website already running on Apache through test.albinsblog.com. I want to enable the CloudFront CDN to access the website in front of the server. So let me show that. Yeah, this is my website already running through test.albinsblog.com. Let me show the Apache configuration. Yeah, so I enabled the virtual host for this test.albinsblog.com. So as a first step, we need to create a new subdomain. So because I have already a domain test.albinsblog.com, we need to create a new subdomain. So that will point to the same server IP. That entry will be used by CloudFront to connect to the origin server. So let me show the flow, maybe it will give more understanding. Yeah, so how this will work is obviously we are going to enable a CNAME to CloudFront distribution URL for this test.albinsblog.com. So then CloudFront will use like a browser will connect to CloudFront. CloudFront will connect to the origin server. In my case, it's Apache through this cdn.albins. So I am going to create a domain called cdn.albinsblog.com. So this is a new subdomain. And also it will pass the host header as test.albinsblog.com. So Apache server is going to consider this host header, honor this one, so that it will the virtual host will be matched with this test.albinsblog.com. So you don't need to add any entry for this one cdn.albinsblog.com. So but only the AWS CloudFront will connect to origin server through this domain. So let me show that domain. Yeah, so I have a test domain pointing to my server, the CDN domain also pointing to the same server right now. So obviously we need to, once the CloudFront configuration is enabled, we need to convert this A record for this test domain to CNAME record. So we need to have a SSL certificate to enable the CNAME domain in Cloud CDN. So let's create the SSL certificate. I am going to create Let's Encrypt certificate. So for that I am going to access this 0ssl.com. So the online tool, you have online tool and downloads. Online tool can't be used here as the default CSR key size generated by the tool is 4096 bits. So but AWS won't support the certificate with key size 4096. The certificate can be imported without any issue, but the certificate will not be available for selection in the CloudFront. The certificate selection option will be disabled. The certificate should be generated with key size 2048 bits. So for that, what you can do is, like, you can go into the download section. So you can I'm using the Windows machine, so Windows binaries, or you can go into the installation and read through for the different OS. So if you go into the binaries, so based on your system architecture, you can download. So mine is 64 or 32, you can download. So let me go into that. Yeah, so that zip file, then you can extract. It will give you a exe file. Yeah, so after this, like as a next step, we need to create the keys. So two keys we need to create. So one is the account key, another one is the domain key. The account key is for this 0ssl.com. So to identify your account, because next time if you want to modify this specific certificate or you want to renew the certificate, you can use the same account key. So the domain key is for the certificate. So let me go and generate those two keys first. So you can execute this command, OpenSSL gen RSA 2048, the key size and the file name. So I'm going and putting it in the command from it. I need to give my OpenSSL. Yeah, so I am creating this. Yeah, the key is created. Then create another key with the name domain key. Okay, now both the keys are created. Now let's execute you need to execute the below command. So this will create the certificate. So LE64, this is the tool we downloaded, LE64.exe. So here account.key. So it will consider the account key, account.key whatever you created, then your email, then CSR file name, then key like CSR key. This is the domain key, the certificate key. Then file name, certificate file name. Domains. So what domains you need to include into the certificate? In my case, I am going to only include test.albinsblog.com. Sorry, we need to include both the domains. My case, it's a test.albinsblog.com and cdn.albinsblog.com. Then handle as DNS, so means the verification is going to be DNS. If you want, if you want to go with the HTTP file based or the server based validation, you can ignore this parameter. Then generate missing, so it will generate all the missing files. So if you are not keeping this account.key like domain, then like domain key whatever you generated, so it will automatically create, but the concern is it will use the 40996 bits key, so that will not work for AWS. So also like you can generate CSR separately and include here. You can keep it in the same folder so that it will consider that. Then this domains parameters are not required, but in my case I'm going with the domains parameter. Okay, so let me go on. Also this parameter live, so you can say whether you want to create a live certificate. If you remove that, it will create a kind of test certificate. Then you can include this generate missing also. It will generate all the missing files. Okay, I will go here and I will enter it. Okay, so now it's given a, because I selected the domain verification, it given me this validation. So I need to go to this test.blog.com. Yeah. So I need to go to the Cloudflare domain controller. Then I need to enter this. You go to add this record, type as txt. Okay, enter the domain. Now copy the value. So it's going to be okay. Save that. Sometimes this may take some time to reflect, but yeah, challenge.test, that's fine. So now let us verify whether the changes are reflected. So for that, again copy this domain. Okay, you can verify through this DNS checker. Search. Yeah, we need to wait to this. Yeah, it's already reflected. So now what you can do is you can go and just enter here. Okay, now the first verification is completed, so it's asking for the second one, the cdn.albinsblog.com. so again add another entry. Okay, same thing, you add it here. You can leave this or you can remove this, is not mandatory. Then copy this. Okay, save this. Yeah, maybe check whether it's reflecting or not. cdn. Yeah, it's reflecting. Now go back here and press enter. Okay, yeah, we can delete that if required. Yeah, so the certificate is created. Now if you go here, you can see there is a CRT, then obviously this domain key. So this account key and the CSR, we can keep it safely, because account key can be used next time when you generate the certificate, so that it will help us to tool can identify the account. Now the certificate is ready. You can ignore the above certificate generation steps if the certificate is already available. Let's import the certificate to AWS. For that, access the AWS console. Then maybe you can go to the services, look for certificate manager. So while you are uploading the certificate, ensure you selected North Virginia region, because like CDN, the CloudFront only accept the certificate imported to this region, the global region. Okay, now click on this get started. Now import a certificate. Yeah, here like certificate body, then private key, then certificate chain. So go back to this one, so you can open this certificate file. Here you can see the two section. One is the actual certificate, copy that. You can put it in this one. Then certificate private key is the this one, domain dot key. Okay, copy this. Now the certificate chain is the second part of this certificate. This is the chain, certificate chain. You can take this and you can put it here. Done. Now you can click on next. Yeah, if you want, you can add some tagging so that you can easily locate it later. So that's fine for me. Yeah, you can back up the file. That's fine. Okay, now the certificate is successfully imported. Now we need to configure the CloudFront distribution. So for that, what you do is you go into this yeah, CloudFront. Maybe already I accessed, or you can type it here. Okay, click on this create distribution. Then I am going with the web distribution. Get started. So give that origin domain name. So here my origin domain name is cdn.albinsblog.com. Okay, origin path you can leave it. This all fine. Now yeah, origin SSL protocol all fine. So I'm going with origin protocol policies HTTP only. So if you want, you can go with the this is the protocol to connect CDN to origin server. So if required, HTTPS can be used by enabling the same SSL certificate on the origin server. So anyhow, I am going with HTTP. So if you want, you can change this origin response timeout and this all values. The HTTP port, my case anyway, it's running on 80, so I'm not going to change it. So then, like viewer protocol policy, I'm going with HTTPS because I already installed the certificate. Anyway, I am going to enable redirect HTTP to HTTPS. So if somebody access my URL through HTTP, it will get redirected to HTTPS. So even this redirect can be enabled in the origin. My case is Apache, so we can do the redirect, but so even CDN can do that. Okay, then allowed HTTP method. So anyway, for my testing, I'm going with get. You can enable all this method also, maybe required. Then remaining things looking fine. Now caching and all I'm going then default. Then you need to change this cache based on selected request headers. You need to do a whitelist. So you need to at least minimum you need to whitelist this host header. So because Apache will work based on the host header. So if you are not whitelisting this, the user will see the origin domain. So whenever user access test.albinsblog.com, so they will see the origin domain. So because of your whitelisting this host header, so whatever the browser domain name, that will be sent as part of this host header. So Apache will honor this. So Apache will match the virtual host based on this host header, not the actual connected domain. So here the actual domain to use to connect is cdn.albinsblog.com, but the host actual browser host is like test.albinsblog.com. Okay, so then remaining all changes is fine. Maybe let me show that flow, maybe then you can get more understanding. Yeah, so test.albinsblog.com, it will can access through HTTP or HTTPS. Obviously the redirect will be taken care. Then yeah, redirect. Then AWS CloudFront will connect to my origin server Apache through with the HTTP through this domain CDN. But AWS CloudFront will send the host header because I already whitelisted the host header. So here my case the browser host is test.albinsblog.com. So Apache is going to like honor this host header, so it will match with this. Okay, so let me go back to the configuration now. Okay, now you need to enable this alternate domain names. So my case, I'm going with only one domain, that is test.albinsblog.com. Yeah. Now when the moment you enable the CNAMEs, you need to have a custom Excel. Now it's enabled. So if you have any issue with the certificate, either it's a key problem or key size problem, so this option will not be enabled. If you enable the certificate with the 4096 bits, so this option will not be enabled. Now you can select the certificate whatever you uploaded. So client side support, this is fine. Security policy, you can leave it, this is all fine. Yeah, now looking fine, it's enabled. Yep, you can go and create the distribution. Yeah, the distribution is created. It may take some time to reflect into all the regions. So now what we need to do is we can go and like we know the domain name, this domain name, this is a domain name. So copy this domain. Now we need to create a CNAME record. So for that, again go to your domain provider. Right now, as I said already, this is a record. So now I need to delete this record and create a CNAME record. So I'm going to delete this. So create a CNAME record. Now here it's going to be test, the target going to be the CloudFront. Yeah, now I save this. Okay, this may take some time to reflect again. You validate this. Once it's reflected, you can go and test it. Test.albinsblog.com, then check the CNAME record. Yeah, it's already reflected. Yeah, now what you do is like you go and access this domain. Maybe I will go to a private window. Yeah, it's accessing. Let me see, validate whether it's really going through the CloudFront. Yeah, now we can review this inspect log. So if you see here test.albinsblog.com I accessed, so there is a 301 redirect and it got redirected to HTTPS. So this redirect was performed by CDN. So if you see here, you can see the response headers. Yeah, so X has redirect from CloudFront. So it's working as suspected. So then if I go to this is anyway, this may be Apache redirect because index.html. Now this is the actual page. So there is again one more redirect, I'm not sure. Yeah, there is a lot of redirects maybe. Sorry. Yeah, if you see here, like this is the actual page accessed and it is saying miss from CloudFront. Maybe next time if you access, it will say hit from the CloudFront. Yeah, if I go here, yeah, it's a hit from the CloudFront. So it's cached in the CloudFront. Let us also review the SSL certificate. So let me go into this lock. So connection is secure, so certificate valid. So you can see this certificate issued to test.albinsblog.com. Let's encrypt author-tx3. So the certificate is working as expected. So yeah, now if I go to my Apache, so I did not created any virtual host for the CDN domain. So because my CDN is always sending my host header, so from the browser, that is test.albinsblog.com, it's always matched with that. So okay, now let me go back to this one. Yeah, so now here if you see origin and origin groups, you can create new origin if you require. Then behaviors, this is the default behavior, everything will be cached. So if you want to have a custom behavior, you want to disable the cache for some of the specific URL, you can create a custom behavior and you can provide those URL, like what is this URL, then what is the cache behavior, you can change it. So do you want to cache it or not, like you can disable that. Yeah, so restrictions, yeah, whatever you want to configure, you can configure it. Okay. Yeah, now this concludes, like we had a website, Argin server. So now we enabled that through CDN. So CDN is connecting to Argin server, and also like HTTP to HTTP is like a secure redirect is taken care by CDN. Okay, thanks all for watching the video. See you in the next video.